Just putting the final movie together for 6B, where we're going to look at some of those Siphon effects we started off right at the beginning. So at the moment I'm just going to take this back to just our background graphic, and I'm going to replace these images with some things we're going to add down here. So just to show you where they are from the first movie, just minimize that as well. We basically have a range of different Siphon effects here. So I'm just going to go through just a few of these to show you what some of them can do, certainly with a lot of experimentation. So I'm going to just open this one up so it becomes its own separate program. And here it is just loading in like so. So basically all I need to do is basically just go and choose a line effect, and we don't have anything up at the moment, and I'm just going to go through and just create a bit of effect here. Or what I might need to do is just basically turn on the size that we want to work with. So perhaps I'll start off with this large format here. So basically I'm just going to craft out something really simple. You can amend this as much as you like anyway as we go through. Seeing we're working with type, I might just do a couple of letters just to get the feel of how this can go. And I'll plonk that up like so. Not the best, but let's say I can go through here and just amend things just by clicking on any of these angles. Perhaps put it in here a little bit. And just join this one up there and there. Okay, now with this in place, when we want to save these things out with the animations we're going to put onto it, you can also, just put that in there, actually just output, basically we're saving as to wherever. This will be just the effect that we want to create. You can click here SVG, which is outputting it just as a vector line work. You can open up an Illustrator. And this is where if you want to save something and bring it in later that you've created, you can just import it from wherever it happens to be. I haven't created anything yet, so I'm basically just going to go through and play with a few effects to see how things are looking. So here we are, we can add our effects, and we've got our timer here, or our duration speed to play with them. Let's just click on the first one here. I can actually make that really fast, or slow it down. I'll add in a couple of effects. I'll just go back to the pointer tool here. Jigger it up a little bit and really go to town. But quite a fun tool to play with varied line work. Maybe I'll do that and that. So you can mix and match them as well. Okay, and this is where I basically just go here and I can just save it as a file, and I'll save it as a file specifically to this program to import back in. Okay, that's one of the tools. Let's just go up and see how that works. So if I just go up and bring this down a little bit, and I'll just bring up my Madmapper, and you'll see it's loaded in here. So if I just click on it, you can see how that shape's loaded in there, and it's just a matter of reshaping it to fit your surfaces just nicely. So I've just touched on that tool. You can do a lot with it. It's quite a clever tool. So I'll just go back up here, and I'm just going to go and quit that particular program. Let's go and have a look at something that may be a little bit more cool. And from the line one here, we're going to go through to maybe the graphic pad here, which is quite a clever one. This is really good because it's actually a little bit like what you need to do if you want to do a movie with a whole range of effects, so you can just segment out any one of them. You can play around with this, change the color, and do a range of things with it. Just close that one, and you can also play around with the size that you want it to appear in terms of proportion. If you want to just split it to fit maybe your masking areas a little bit better. Let's just bring this up and see how it looks. Bring that back into the view here, and you'll see the graphic pattern is loaded in here. Again, with whatever you happen to be doing, maybe I'll just move this over here for the time being and just bring this up a little bit bigger. it's just a matter of whatever surface you want to reshape, you can just turn that around like so, or in fact any one of them, and reshape it accordingly to best fit the module or surface you happen to be working with. In this case, this one, I'm going to zoom in closer. You can see that changing there. Or I'll go up to number 4, I think it was, or was it 5? 3 actually. That's quite a main one here, and I can just bring that and see it moving around. So that's where, if you segment a movie up, you can just use it really nicely in this particular effect. So quite a cool little tool. So I'm just going to go back here, click back here, and just with this one, just quit that. Just have to watch you don't have too many things open. It can actually really drain your processor. So quit that. Let's see what else is there that's worth a look at. Just minimize that one as well. Just on the other side here, we've got the generator. Now that's quite a cool tool as well. I'm just going to open this one up. This is where we can play around with the colors, the alpha, the feedback. There's an auto move. There's just a range of things that worth really checking up and experimenting with. So I'll flip that, and I'll go back to those colors. A bit more alpha. No, I'll give it maximum. Click on the color here. Just warm it or cool it down a bit. That should be great, and let's close that. And just invert it again, and I'm going to just go and have a look and see how that works in the output. And here we are, the Madmapper output here. So that's just one more example of working with a Syphon. So I'm just going to get that particular file and just quit this one, bring this back in, and have a look at one that's quite nice if you want to turn a building, for example, or anything you're projecting on into a equalizer. Here's the perfect tool for that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to map it to any sound that's going through here, so I'm going to turn the microphone on. Testing, testing. As you can see, that's working. You can play with whatever you want for gain. Play with your squares. Let's see, I'll make that 8. You see how that's changed depending on what you're gridding to. Let's go and see that in action. Here's where we turn the microphone on. Show lines, we'll take them off. Hue. So all these things can be changed around with. I'll just go and bring that down so we can bring our file back in here. And I'll just go into the generator here. And maybe that's where I'll just minimize that down and see how the output window is looking there. So you can see that it can really add an effect, particularly if you've got this mapped all the way through a building and even masking off the windows or including the windows. Lots of things you can do in terms of a live performance for this one. Really great for doing band work, that's for sure. Okay, we'll have a look at one more. So I'm just going to close this file down, minimize that, bring that out, minimize that, and just make sure I quit this one. And we're going to have a look at just the last one to finish off on. I think we'll have a look at video delay. Now, whether you're using your camera on your computer or you're using a camera outputting to something else, this is fantastic for live display as well. So I'll just open that up. Just in the situation I've got myself here, I'm going to play with delay. If I move my hand, you see we've got a little bit of a delay. I can take that even further. There's exposure to play with, there's different rows, heights and things like that. So I'm just going to bring this up quickly to show this one in action. And just go and select on that, minimize that down, and bring this out. And so we've got the delay here. I might just bring that up and just change exposure as well. In fact, great for doing live presentation with it as well. So if I click on that, and I'll just quit that as well. So you can open and close these essentially if you're working with double monitors doing live performance. So you can see you can get quite a few things that really are going on. So anyway, that's a quick intro to working with Madmapper. I hope you find it an interesting program, and certainly with the other tools that you can get with it to build up, there's certainly a lot that can be done with this projection mapping. Now, working with your exhibition files, you might find it handy to use some of these tools or make up your own to project onto maybe some surfaces or to test them out, but certainly just for the concept of having a look at how this could be a valuable tool to use as well.